Good morning. On behalf of my family and I want to offer my sincere thanks to all of you for joining us in remembering our son Nicholas today. To our distinguished guests, military and civilian, my FM family in particular, friends from Northern Virginia Early Learning Academy, and parents of the kids that Michelle cares for, to all of Nick's co-workers at Chipotle and Starbucks, and to all the friends and family that could be here today, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to be here with us. Your outpouring of love and support over this devastating time has been greatly appreciated by my family and I. I also want to thank all the folks involved with making this special occasion happen. What a beautiful day, what a blessing, and I would wish I could be anywhere but here right now. I wish that I had my son. But unfortunately that's not the realities that we're faced with. So being here with you all and feeling the love and support that we feel and having Nick honored in this manner means the world to us. So thank you so much all for being here. I'm going to go a little off script. As we noted, I fired Skylar earlier from speaking the biography, so I wanted to incorporate that into my spiel that I can share. We just returned back from our celebration of Nick's life in St. Louis, where we're originally from and all of our family lives, where they honor Nick. We took him to his home of his beloved Cardinals at Busch Stadium and honored him there. We gathered with some friends and family at the site where Michelle and I were married over 21 years ago. And a common theme that we kept hearing was that there's just no words for this situation. And it's so very true. There really are no words to be said. So I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable around us, so please be at ease. Don't feel like you have to tread carefully with your words or avoid us by no means. We appreciate all the love and support. We're going through a lot of emotions, moments of calm and numbness, moments of extreme sadness quite frequently, and at times anger as well. So when we need time alone, we try to make sure we have that time, but sometimes we need that extra support, and today is one of those days, so please know that your hugs are encouraged and welcome here, especially at the end, except for my oldest daughter. She has space issues, so just to make it noted, and she's got a cough too, so, but everyone else, feel free to give us hugs. I do have to start off by apologizing for not setting a proper military example with my beard. That was not intended. I would have wanted nothing more than to have shaved it off a few weeks ago, as I had intended to do, as I anticipated returning to work, as we were going to be transitioning Nick into a treatment program that we very anxiously have been waiting to put him in. We never got that opportunity, and we will never understand why it was such a struggle to get him the proper care that Nick so desperately needed. But we hope that in our loss, perhaps improvements to the system could be made, and that no other family will be faced with the despair of losing a child and sibling in this manner. So I do today request your forgiveness for the beard, but as I honor Nick and cherish the last days I was able to spend with him, I hope it means the world to me to know that I can honor him in this manner and hopefully increase some awareness of suicide awareness and prevention. I'll make the transition to the summary or his biography that we've put together. I wrote it more in a third person again because I was going to have Skylar read it, but like I said, I stole it from him, so bear with me as I try to translate it back into my words. Nick was born at 6:54 a.m. on a Thursday morning, the 6th of August, 1998, in Belleville, Illinois. He came into the world taking my breath away, just the same as he did when he departed it. He came in the world arm first, and the doctor promptly grabbed his arm and waved and said, "Hi, Dad," to which I almost fainted. So they made me go sit down and drink some orange juice so that I could recover in time. He had very light blonde curly hair as an infant, big soft curls, which was, I guess, a preview to the majestic head of curls to come in the years later. When Nick was about a year and a half old, I joined the Air Force and launched us into a series of moves all over the United States, which would span the rest of his life. So our first stop was in Charleston, South Carolina, where Matthew was there with us. I love that that sharing that you had there, Matthew. That really meant a lot. You know, and mentioning the beaches, that was one of the favorite areas that we all had, and I could see the beaches across the way as you were explaining it. It was beautiful. Nick, he was a class clown at a very young age, instantly making friends at the daycare that his mom had worked at. He attended school at Lambs Elementary. He had his first kiss. Hopefully the parents weren't too upset about that. But he was voted King of Hearts in a Valentine's Day dance, and he spent many fun-filled days at the beach with us. Other favorite activities included visiting Disney World, where he got to go see his best friends Mickey and Goofy, and as he referred to Donald Duck as Don, because apparently they were on a first-name basis. He learned to ride a bike. I tried to teach him, and he kept falling, so Mom had to step in and help him figure it out, and he got it from there on. And then watching his favorite TV shows at the time, SpongeBob SquarePants, he played Frosty the Snowman to the point where Mom had to hide the disc, and then Blue's Clues as well was very popular for him. On September 11th, 2001, a special moment in all of our hearts, I think, but for us, one that we'll cherish always, and I know Nick did, because he became a big brother that day, is the birth of his sister Samantha. Nick needed nicknames to refer to his sisters, as their names weren't too easy to say when he was a little guy. Instead of saying Elizabeth, he called her Bibbies. For Samantha, Nick tried to call her Honey, but couldn't say the H. He said an N instead, so he called her Nunny, which is a name that eventually got passed on to one of our pets. After Charleston, we moved to Hawaii, and that was a big play on Nick's part, actually, because we weren't sure where we were going to move to, and with every move, I always wanted to involve the family. I was always worried early on, because we came from non-military backgrounds. When would it be so hard? When would it be most challenging on the kids, at the younger age or perhaps older? And as we've learned, certainly as they got older, it got a lot harder for the relocations. But when he found out that Hawaii was in the option, Nick made it real clear that's where he wanted to go. So that pretty well swayed the decision, and we off to there. We went and met some dear friends. The DeJesus family greeted us and welcomed us with open arms. The Churchills, and of course the Barretts, all close friends of ours that have been in our hearts and helped us through the first few days of the trying times that we faced. While he was there, when he wasn't attending school at Hickam Elementary, he loved to go on hikes, play with his friends in the neighborhood courtyard, and go swimming at the beaches. Of course, he was a beach bum. He also loved Little League baseball. I got to coach his team, and of course we were the Cardinals. Nick loved baseball, and he loved the St. Louis Cardinals, and he proudly wore his Cardinal gear, and as you can probably see from a lot of the pictures, any chance he got. I remember the 2006 postseason and World Series. We watched it in his bedroom on his bunk bed, and on his little 13-inch screen, we watched the games together, and that was awesome. It was the World Series the Cardinals ended up winning, and he was really proud of his team back then. He loved playing video games with his sisters, especially their favorite game called Kingdom Hearts. So if you're not familiar, it's a game that involves Disney characters, the three of his being the favorite, Donald Duck and Goofy and Mickey, and some other characters, his favorite being a character by the name of Sora. And during the game, Nick, that favorite character of Sora, delivered a quote that captures this tragedy that we're faced with, but instills some hope and promise that Nick will remain in our hearts today. And it reads, the darkness may destroy my body, but it can't touch my heart. And the darkness being the depression that Nick faced over the years that eventually got so strong that he had no way out. But his heart always remained, and it will remain with us always. In 2006, we moved to San Antonio, and Nick loved going down to the Riverwalk, the Alamo, visiting Austin, Texas, and he got to see some of his favorite musicians in concert, like Keith Urban and Kenny Chesney. I made a video tribute, and I think on the brochure there's a link to it there if you get time. It's pretty lengthy. There's several hundred pictures in there, but it's got some great captures of who Nick is. It kind of goes along with some of the pictures you see up here in front of you. One of the songs that is in there that I keep waking up to in my head is the Keith Urban song, Tonight I Want to Cry. It was one that when Nick was little, every time that song would come on, he would cry. He was just such a sensitive sweetheart that just emotional songs like that could really get to him, and he'd come on the radio and he'd start bawling. School came easy for Nick. He took great pride in getting very high grades. When he wasn't getting making the honor roll at school. He spent a lot of time at home playing with the babies that his mom cared for in their home daycare. He was always a natural with the kids and loved playing with them. In 2010, it was time for the family to relocate. We went to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Nick was going into 7th grade and would attend Overhills Middle School. Adolescence was hitting him pretty hard at that time, and I think that's when Michelle and I have noticed that was probably when the signs of the initial depressions were starting to set in. But with Nick, always carrying a smile and a pleasant demeanor, it wasn't anything that we read too deeply into. One of the highlights, I think, especially that I'll take away during that tour, it was in 2011. I was TUI up here in this area in DC, and he was back down home in Fayetteville, and back to the World Series was going on. And the Cardinals were there playing the Texas Rangers, and the epic Game 6, and for those of you that don't track the baseball history of it there, it was one that will go down in history, at least in our Cardinal hearts, that we thought that we were going to lose on many occasions. And I was trying to console him on the phone because he was watching the game and telling me what was going on, and it looked like sure doom for the team. And I was telling him, Nick, I'm really sorry, maybe next year. And then he'd start going, oh, wait. And then he couldn't spit out the words of what was happening. I had to wait 20, 30 seconds, and he'd finally tell me that the player got onto the next base. And eventually, I was able to get home just in time to see the game-winning home run because the game went into extra innings. So the next day, Nick put on every piece of Cardinal gear that he had. And there's a picture of him with a scarf over there on one of the boards. And every single piece of Cardinal attire he put on to will his team to that Game 7 victory and to earn that second World Series championship in his very, very short life. And not many folks can say that. They're having their team do that, especially any Cubs fans. You can't say that either. So. We shared a mutual dislike for the Cubs anyway. So. In 2012, I went on a one-year assignment to Korea, and Nick and mom and sisters went back to San Antonio. Nick attended Steele High School as a freshman. It was a tough year to be apart for both he and I, but Nick's sense of humor just seemed to blossom. He kept the family smiling and laughing, even though this darkness of depression began to really spread within. You see the picture on the very far end there was one where, like I said, he was just constantly goofy and trying to make his sisters and mom smile, even though he was suffering. We had taken him to a counselor at that time and for the first time, and we got some unfortunate advice of maybe dad should get out of the military and stop moving you around because that they thought was the right answer. But Nick totally disagreed. He loved being a member of this family, and he didn't want to hear that as a solution. Change was hard for him, as we've seen, but he always took every move with great stride and great anticipation. After our time there, or during that time actually, our oldest daughter met her future husband Skylar, and he and Nick became as close as brothers, sharing a love and close connection with Libby. The three of them shared some great laughs, many funny pictures, and even interestingly, Skylar dared him to do a test with some Icy Hot, where Nick put some Icy Hot on places of his body that he shouldn't have put it on, and he paid the price for that, but we'll go down in memory for him. When I got back from Korea, it was time for us to move, and we went to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Being less than 5 hours away from St. Louis, Nick and I were able to go back to see several Cardinal games, and one of which was a fortunate one. We got the picture here where he and I got to see Game 3 of the World Series in 2013. It was the wild one where the Cardinals won on an obstruction call on third base, and it was crazy, but it was amazing. And it's a memory that I'll cherish always, that he and I held very closely in our hearts. Despite the fact the Cardinals didn't win the series, that game meant a whole lot to us. While living there in Fort Leavenworth, Nick volunteered over 500 hours at an after-school program where kids and staff loved him, and he just brightened so many faces with his presence despite his growing sadness within. During Christmas that year, our family grew as Nick used his irresistible charm to convince Mom and I to adopt a dog, and he would later name that dog Nova. Within a week, though, we decided to go back and adopt Nova's sister, and that's where the name Nunny now goes, and so Samantha's dog is named Nunny. So Nick loved those girls very, very much, and they loved him right back and gave him lots of love and joy. In March of 14, Liv and Skylar were married, and Nick was his big sister's man of honor, as the title was self-donated there. What a clown. There's pictures of him doing that as well. He just such a ham, but it was really hard because him and being in the constant moving, and I'm sure lots of folks here can relate, we were a tight-knit bunch and we kept very close, and Nick and Elizabeth really were their best friends to each other. So it was hard for him to let his big sister go, but he loved Skylar and was happy to be gaining a brother. After a short year in Kansas, it was time to move here, where we are now in Burke, Virginia, and we picked the Robinson Secondary as a school of choice for Nick and Samantha, and we're so grateful for all the love and support that we've received from the school and from all the students to be here supporting our daughter, and all the kids that got to know Nick, and all the teachers and faculty that are here with us today. Thank you so much, because we do see you as part of our family as well, and I know that Nick enjoyed his time with the school. He was proud. He bragged about his grades. He was 3.8 GPA, and he had straight A's right now going in his class. He really, school was way too easy for him. I never understood. He must have got that from his mom. Definitely not me. When he wasn't working or at school, he wanted to get a job, so the very first place he applied was Chipotle, and they hired him on the spot. And I had to explain to him, Nick, that's not how it works. It shouldn't have been that easy, but it was, and he loved it. He worked there 30 to 40 hours a week. In early 2015, earlier this year, we prepared for my deployment to Afghanistan. When it came time for me to depart, Nick really struggled to let go as his world was once again changing. And it was tough. Leaving your family at any point is difficult, but to see him break down the way he did, it was wrenching. Mom worked tirelessly to support him, but the change was a lot, and on top of the depression that was just taking full control of him, and it consumed him and sent his life spiraling out of control. He tried to gain control of his life, and he made genuine efforts at home with his sisters and mom. He went and got another job, worked at Starbucks, and he wasn't there very long, but the short amount of time he was there, he made some very close connections with the staff, and they loved him, and they've been nothing but great support to us this whole time as well. So thank you for loving on our son as much as you did, and thank you for supporting us during this time. Over the last 2 months of Nick's life, he attended some intense therapy programs, but unfortunately, he could not find the peace from within. When he wasn't at the program, he was conducting community service at a Habitat for Humanity store and attending weekly support programs to strengthen him and give him more coping skills. Outwardly, Nick appeared optimistic that the care he was receiving was helping. He also spoke of the future, looking forward to going to college, and was excited to pursue a profession in psychology, as he felt very passionate about helping others. I was shared some stories about how Nick would help other kids in the group therapy sessions to see the benefits and the goodness, and that was more his reach. He'd rather help other people than to find the answers for himself. Unfortunately, that darkness, as mentioned, overtook Nick and filled him up with a level of despair that none of us will ever be able to understand. Devastatingly, that darkness consumed him and led him to end his suffering. The darkness that destroyed my son's body, but his undying love and passion transcends this lifetime and can't touch his heart. Nick's heart will forever live within all of us, and though his loved ones are stricken with the unbearable despair, we realize the sadness that we feel is only a small portion of what Nick was facing day in and day out. So he left a lot of hurt and a lot of pain that we've split amongst us, and we will carry with us the rest of our days, but he's at peace and his suffering is no longer. Going through this turbulent time that we've been faced with has forced us to face some tough issues in life that I, for one, hadn't really faced. I thought I knew how I felt about things, but not until I really had to make some tough decisions internally about how I feel. So one of my girls compared the change we're experiencing. It's like life has been in a bubble, filled with much happiness and somewhat sense of invincibility. But that bubble now has been popped. I hope not to offend anyone, as I want to bring to discussion my feelings of religion, because I feel very compelled to share with you my views of Nick's death and how it's affected my faith. I had never really thought much about life and death, as much as I thought that I did, or where I stood on the positions, or what, for that matter, comes after. But for me, the determination on what happens after this life is pretty simple. I can't accept anything but to believe that there is indeed a heaven where my son is at peace right now and will one day be there to greet us. I have to believe that I will one day see him again. Knowing how painful and heartbreaking it is to lose my son, I can say with certainty that I would never willingly be able to let that happen. And to think that my God loves me so much that he sacrificed his only son for my sins, the sins of my family and my son, that gives me some overwhelming comfort and confidence that Nick is in a better place. So we've all had the signs with us at different times that Nick is not only at a better place, that he's with us. When we were in St. Louis, Samantha and I shared a story separately that came out that at night we both apparently dreamt that Nick's spirit had came to us. And in my situation, he came alongside the bed where we were at and kept telling me over and over, "Dad, I love you. Dad, I love you." And it was so real, and I don't have dreams like that. And I told my wife about it, and then when Samantha joined us in the morning, she told us how she dreamt that Nick's spirit was there in the room with her, and that he was laying on her and wrestling with her, it's amazing to feel that he's with us and will continue to carry with us on and on, no matter what we face. So yes, I believe that my son is in heaven and in our hearts looking down on us now, and will indeed see him again one day. I got a couple of letters I'd like to share that my daughters have written while we were on our visit with our family. The first being from my oldest. I'm sitting here at the Elks wishing for beautiful words that bring happy tears and peace to come to me, but they have yet to do so. I watch the doors open, hoping that you will come through them and end this nightmare, but that is yet to happen. I have endless memories of your charming smile that both calm me and shatter me. I wish the pain would stop, but for me, it is yet to do so. These days, I think back to the time when I was able to take away the hurt you had felt. Your heart had been broken, and yet you kept a brave face as you went about your day. I remember you were taking a longer time to take out the trash than normal. I followed you outside, and I found you in tears. I took you in my arms, and I told you I love you. I will be here for you, always. You hugged me tighter inside, and in that moment, you weren't hurting. You have told me so. I wish I could hold you again, but I can no longer do so. Find peace, because now you can do so. I love you, brother. Libby. Or Bibbies, as I prefer to use. I almost missed one. The other from Samantha. Nick, you have been the best big brother ever. I remember when you would call me Nunny, because you couldn't say honey. I also remember how you and Lib called me Carol for a month. You two would always mess with me. You were always there to protect me, even when I would say I liked a boy, haha. You were always there when I needed you. We always played games and messed with Dad. I'm sorry that you were hurting. I really just wish you were able to talk to me, but I know it wouldn't help. I get angry at the thought that we can't make more memories. I wouldn't have traded you for anyone else. Now and then I'll have a breakdown knowing I don't have a big brother to go home to and drink Dr. Pepper with. It stinks, it really does. But I'm so happy knowing that you have that peace you always wanted. I just wish you could have found it back here with us. I hope you will still be there when we need you. Don't doubt that you're missed. You are. We love you. I love you, and I miss you so much, Nick. Please trust that I do. Love you, big bro. Love, Samantha. One of Nick's enduring qualities that I kind of highlighted on was that how much he liked to help other people. One of his greatest gestures was making the determination to become an organ donor. He made that determination when he obtained his driver's permit earlier this year. So by the sacrifice of his body, he was able to provide life, the gifts of life to other people, which we are so very proud of Nick for doing so. Nick loved to help others so much, and to honor him, I ask your help in doing three things, if you will. The first being, Nick would want each of us to live our lives to the fullest, to do the things that he can no longer do. So I encourage each of you to find peace and happiness and spread those feelings to others. Secondly, to help spread Nick's memory and his story to others, especially those that are suffering with depression, so that they can receive the same care or better that they need. And number three, to help find ways to improve suicide awareness and prevention, especially within the military community. In the military, we have some traditions. In some months, they dedicate to growing mustaches. And much like the NFL wears pink in recognition of breast cancer awareness, September is the National Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. And I hope to be able to honor Nick each September by seeking a shaving waiver and doing it more appropriately, and growing a beard in honor to raise the awareness. And if we can push for that, it would be a great thing. In closing, I want to say thank you for letting me share my love and thoughts about my sweet boy. There was a fourth write-in, I almost forgot. I encourage each of you to try. I've never seen it before, but I've tried it, and it's the craziest thing. He liked to clean his ears with 2 Q-tips at a time. So just take 1 Q-tip in both ears and clean them out at the same time. It feels really weird, so, but it's life-changing. I dare you to try it. Nick started a tradition that early on, that when going to bed at night, he would tell us, "Love you, good night, see you tomorrow," in a sense of a reassuring manner. So Nick, buddy, I love you, good night, we'll see you tomorrow in heaven. Always carrying that sensitive soul, Nick was as I mentioned earlier, songs would affect Nick. And one of the songs that really tore him up, besides the Keith Urban song, was this Lee Greenwood song that I'd like to leave my memory with Nick on.